In 2026 is a year in which people born in the horse sign are very likely to fall into a state of constant busyness. The amount of work clearly increases. Responsibilities also grow heavier. Some people take on new jobs, while others stay in the same position but face a higher workload and greater responsibility. Almost every day comes with tasks that need to be handled, and truly free time becomes rare. What makes many horse people feel tired is not simply the amount of work they have to do, but the feeling of working non-stop without being sure that things are actually improving. Money still comes in, but how much can really be saved remains unclear. The mind is constantly tense because of work, schedules, and responsibilities, making it very hard to feel truly at ease. This year does bring real opportunities. Work does open up, but along with that come many unexpected tasks, interruptions, and responsibilities that arise from the trust others place in you. If you are not careful, it is easy for the whole day to pass in constant handling and adjusting, only to feel at the end that you are still standing in the same place. So if you also feel that life is always busy like this, try gently reminding yourself, may I be able to maintain a steady rhythm in this new year, so that my work flows smoothly without becoming tangled or chaotic. And in today's video, I would like to share with everyone a few things that people born in the horse sign often do when their work becomes busy. These are things I have drawn from my experience working with horse people. They usually help horse individuals handle work in a calmer and more measured way, making life feel lighter and more comfortable each day. However, before moving into specific actions, there is one key thing we need to clearly understand about people born in the horse sign: how their personality and life rhythm are affected in 2026. Only by understanding how these changes work can we know what to do, what to keep, and where to adjust. When this becomes clear, the natural strengths of the horse sign can be applied more effectively, allowing work to flow more smoothly and life to feel easier. The year 2026 is not a stormy year in terms of major upheavals for horse people. Yet, if observed closely, it is a year of subtle and lasting influence. Changes happen gradually, quietly blending into daily life, and only in hindsight does one realize how far they have been carried from the starting point. In terms of personality, this year makes horse people react faster than usual. Tasks are handled immediately, and opportunities trigger an instant urge to seize them. The habit of waiting and long consideration decreases noticeably. This makes horse people more proactive and less likely to miss good timing. However, the mind also finds it harder to rest, staying constantly ready to act. Many feel quicker, but also more tense. In daily rhythm, 2026 breaks time into smaller segments. A day rarely focuses on one task. Interruptions are frequent, schedules shift often, and original plans are easily disrupted. By day's end, fatigue becomes clear, coming from the mind constantly switching tasks. Days pass quickly, yet there is little time to slow down. Over time, the body keeps going, but inner heaviness begins to build. In terms of finances, cash flow is closely tied to busyness. More work brings income, while slowing down creates insecurity. This leads to pressure to maintain a high pace. Many horse people hesitate to rest, even when already tired, gradually losing time for family and personal life without noticing at first. Overall, 2026 accelerates the life rhythm of the horse sign in all areas. Personality becomes more decisive, routines more packed, and finances more dependent on constant movement. When these influences are clearly understood, horse people can recognize what is driving them. With early awareness, they can adjust their pace, keep work effective, and still protect their energy and long-term stability. At this point, a question will likely arise in your mind. So what should be done to help 2026 pass more smoothly, make work less stressful, and allow life to feel a little easier to breathe? Let's continue together now to find adjustments that are suitable and can be applied immediately in daily life. The first thing, set clear financial goals. In 2026, the first thing people born in the horse sign need to do is to face their finances directly and clearly choose their goals. Many people enter this year with a familiar feeling, working a lot, tasks piling up. But when asked, "Where do I want my money to go this year?" the answer is often quite vague. They only know that they are earning, managing, and trying not to fall short. This way of thinking easily turns the whole year into a chase after cash flow rather than truly leading it. In daily life, this shows very clearly. There is income from the main job, plus side projects, unexpected tasks, and cooperation offers. Money comes in at a decent level, but because there is no specific destination, it also slips away easily without you noticing. When money is needed, it feels insufficient. When money is available, there is worry about where it should be placed. This sense of insecurity often comes from not knowing what purpose your cash flow is actually serving. When viewed through a feng shui perspective, 2026 is a year of strong and active money movement for people born in the horse sign. Work comes faster, opportunities appear more frequently, and money flows in and out more flexibly than before. However, money can also slip away very easily if there is no accumulation. To accumulate wealth, there must first be a direction, and financial goals are exactly that direction. Without a clear direction, everything gets pulled toward the busiest tasks rather than the most important ones, making it very difficult to retain money in the long term. Therefore, what needs to be done from the beginning is to define financial goals in a concrete way. There is no need for many, just 1 or 2 goals are enough. For example, increasing income from the main job to a clear level, building a stable side income stream, or maintaining a certain amount of savings by the end of the year. The more specific the goal, the easier it is for cash flow to gather. When financial goals are clear, the working style of the horse sign naturally changes. Tasks that do not generate income or serve long-term goals become less tempting. Tasks that help move closer to the goal are prioritized. At this point, horse individuals need to work in a more selective way. When priorities are chosen correctly, money is less likely to leak away due to emotions or social obligations. The second thing, selectively choose work that suits you without taking on too much. After financial goals have been set, the next thing people born in the horse sign need to pay attention to in 2026 is reviewing the tasks they take on each day. This is very familiar in daily life. Many people wake up in the morning to a fully packed schedule. One task follows another. Someone asks for help. Someone assigns work. Someone invites cooperation. Each task, when viewed individually, seems reasonable and has a good reason to say yes. The problem is that when all these tasks add up, your time becomes fragmented into many small time slots. Each slot is often not long enough to go deep into any single task. Energy is also scattered across different responsibilities. At first, nothing seems too obvious, but over time, it becomes harder to focus on tasks that are directly connected to money and the chosen direction. The goal is still there, but it keeps getting pushed further back by daily interruptions. From an applied feng shui perspective, what is observed is not how much a person does, but where their time and attention are being drawn the most. Each day, whatever you spend most of your time on, think about the most and worry about the most is usually where results and cash flow will revolve. When too many scattered tasks are taken on, each one occupying a small portion of time and attention, the overall momentum becomes fragmented. It becomes very difficult to form a strong enough direction for accumulation. Feng Shui sees this as a state of dispersed movement, where a lot of effort is put in, but results are hard to gather into a clear point. From a spiritual perspective, filtering what you take on each day is also a way of maintaining inner stability. When too many tasks are carried, the mind is constantly pulled in different directions, worrying about one thing and then another, with very few quiet moments to sense whether you are on the right path or drifting away. When you begin to choose more carefully and keep only tasks that generate income or build long-term credibility, the rhythm of life slows just enough for the mind to keep up. With less mental agitation, decisions become more solid, and energy gradually gathers in the right direction. In a year like 2026, when the pace of life tends to accelerate, this stability becomes the foundation that allows work to go deeper and finances to accumulate more sustainably over time. In summary, after financial goals are set, filtering the tasks you choose to take on is the step that helps people born in the horse sign maintain that direction in daily life. Every task accepted or declined contributes to determining where the momentum is flowing. When this is done well, 2026 can still be busy, but that busyness will bring depth and clear results rather than simply draining energy over time. The third thing, be cautious with important matters such as contracts and paperwork. In daily life, people born in the horse sign tend to react quickly. When someone asks, they answer right away. When work arrives, they handle it immediately. When work is heavy, this habit helps things flow smoothly and prevents delays. However, because of this speed, many people easily say yes to matters that actually require more thought, especially when they involve contracts, documents, or long-term commitments. In reality, problems rarely come from rushing through ordinary daily tasks. They usually appear in major decisions that are made too early, a clause that was not read carefully, a promise made before everything was fully considered, a signature placed while the mind was occupied with many other things. These details may seem small at first, but later they often lead to consequences that are difficult to fix. From a feng shui perspective, matters involving long-term commitments are seen as anchor points in one's life path. When an anchor is placed hastily, the overall momentum can easily shift off course. Feng shui does not consider speed to be the deciding factor, but rather stability and clarity at the moment of decision. Slowing down when it comes to signing, promising, or confirming helps maintain order in the flow of events and prevents moving fast in the wrong direction. From a spiritual viewpoint, slowing down at important moments is directly related to one's inner state. When the mind is calm, decisions tend to be more secure. When the mind is restless, words and commitments easily carry impulsiveness. Holding a slower pace allows a person to observe their own feelings, reducing decisions that later become sources of worry. The fourth thing, adjust your life rhythm. In daily routines, I have noticed a very familiar pattern among many people born in the horse sign. When work starts to pile up, the pace of life automatically speeds up. Sleeping a bit later feels acceptable. Eating simply seems fine. Rest is postponed until there is free time. At first, everything still seems okay. Work still gets done. Things are still manageable. This makes it easy to believe that this pace is sustainable. But if you live this way for a while, you will notice that fatigue arrives very slowly. First, sleep becomes lighter. Then, Waking up in the morning still feels heavy. Eventually, even familiar tasks start to feel mentally slower. You can still do them, but they require more effort. This is a state of silent depletion, often overlooked because there are no obvious warning signs to stop. From an applied feng shui perspective, when daily schedules keep changing, work hours are constantly fragmented, and rest time is no longer fixed. Energy is consumed steadily each day without sufficient recovery. In this state, even with a lot of work done, it is very difficult to maintain long-term stability in both work and finances. Therefore, what needs to be done concretely is to keep certain daily anchors stable. Sleep time should be kept relatively consistent across days. Work schedules should include real empty spaces, not used to squeeze in more tasks. Eating and resting rhythms should be maintained evenly, giving the body familiar reference points each day. These things may sound ordinary, but they determine whether you have the stamina to maintain a long-term pace. When daily rhythm gradually stabilizes, changes come slowly. The mind feels lighter, focus improves, and the sense of urgency decreases. Decisions become clearer and less influenced by prolonged fatigue. This is a sign that energy is being preserved and used in the right places, rather than unconsciously drained through an unbalanced lifestyle. Overall, maintaining life rhythm is the foundation that allows everything done before to truly work. Financial goals require endurance to pursue. Filtering tasks requires clarity to choose. Important commitments require a calm mind to consider. All of these rely on a stable daily rhythm. The fifth thing: choose the right companions. In 2026, besides work and finances, one factor that strongly affects people born in the horse sign is companionship. This is a year when working alone easily leads to exhaustion. But working with the wrong people leads to even faster exhaustion. Horse individuals are used to carrying responsibility and handling the difficult parts, so in a busy year like this, who stands beside them becomes something that needs careful consideration. In real life, 2026 brings many new relationships for horse people: partners, helpers, and business connections. Some feel like opportunities, others come from trust. But without careful selection, it is easy to be drawn into relationships that waste time, scatter energy, and complicate work. From a feng shui perspective, 2026 is a year when human energy strongly affects the financial flow of the horse sign. Working with clear, trustworthy, and steady people allows energy to flow smoothly, work to move forward, and money to gather. In contrast, working with inconsistent people who change often or act differently from what they say creates disorder. This disorder leads to constant issues and makes money hard to keep, even with great effort. From a spiritual viewpoint, companions directly influence the inner state of horse individuals. Being around people who cause worry or require constant explanation makes the mind restless, leading to rushed or misaligned decisions. On the other hand, staying close to people who feel light and clear helps calm the mind, sharpen intuition, and support stronger decisions. Therefore, in 2026, horse people should value quality over quantity in relationships. There is no need for many people, only a few who share the right rhythm. Choosing the right companions helps lighten the workload, steady the mind, and allow this busy year to pass more smoothly. 2026 is not a year to rely on sheer effort, but a year to move forward with clarity, knowing what you are working for, where to stop, and what must be preserved. When this becomes clear, worry fades, the mind relaxes, and important decisions grow firmer and more grounded. Finally, all I wish for people born in the horse sign this year is to hold on to one very fundamental thing: Inner peace first. When the heart is calm, everything else will gradually become clearer. Work will get done, money will find its way to where it needs to go, and life, even when busy, will still have space to breathe. By simply moving forward step by step like this, 2026 will not be a year that exhausts you, but a year that helps you grow more mature in the way you live and the way you work.